I actually went out this day to actually do a sunset. But I got there a little early. I had time to kind of set up my camera a little bit better. I set up right at the edge of the water. And in a couple of places in this video, you'll see how actually the water rolls up and kind of gets my camera off balance a little bit, so it kind of sinks in the water. Twice it did this on me during this video, which is a little annoying, but you know, hey, when you're standing right at the edge, what do you expect? Now this boat right here is quite a ways out, and it's sitting right out here where you can actually see the refraction of the water past the boat. And you can also see the back end of that boat with two guys standing on the back of it. And then I start scouring the edge like I always do. I said, wow, this is beautiful out here. This is a good day to catch boats out on the horizon. Now, part of the reason why is I did reset my camera. I've got it set on the aperture setting. I got my active D-lighting on high. Let's see what else I got on there. Where it's the daylight. I got it on daylight, and I do believe I got it on number 3. There was one other setting I think I had on here that I set differently. I don't know if it really mattered or not, but as you can see, as I get the boat a little toward the top of the screen instead of at the bottom, it's a little brighter. But what I'm doing is I'm able to cut that refraction down. Now, you know, on a lot of my videos, you see them, these boats actually floating in the water, floating in the air. And, you know, I get a lot of, I had a lot of people saying that it was a mirage. And these are not mirages, okay? You can obviously see the boat in the water, splashing water up. And you can see stuff farther in the distance here, too, that I'll pick out and show you. You know, like this boat right here, you know, he's a little bit bigger than the other boats, but you can obviously see him pushing water up, and you can see the wake coming off of the boat, and you see the back end of the boat. That's one of the things that I'm going to pick one of these boats out, and I believe it's this one coming up that I'm coming up to, but you see these little objects farther out there in the distance on the horizon there on the water line? Those are other bird racks or markers out there that I cannot determine the distance. I can't find anything that I can actually say how far they are. I do have a friend of mine that does a lot of fishing out there, and he was telling me some of these markers are, you know, 15 to 20 miles, and that, you know, from standing on the shore, that I should not be able to see these things. Now, I'm going to get him to try to go out and put a mark on him with his GPS, because my boat is a flats boat. It's not built to take a beating like some of these V-hull boats. So it's very hard for me to determine how far they are out with my boat. Now, what I want you to do is pay attention to this boat, and you see the rear end of that boat, and you see the front end. Now, this boat is going across from me, and it's going out away from me at the same time. So it's kind of going on a diagonal angle away from me. So this is why you are seeing kind of more of the rear end of the boat than you are the front of the boat. But what I want you to do is pay attention to this, because I follow this boat to pretty much it just blends in. But, you know, I want you to look at it and watch it, and you tell me, you know, is this a mirage? Because this is definitely not a mirage to me. And you see that this line, this white line that's there in the water, that is kind of where the refraction of the sun is refracting off the water behind that boat. So that is actually water farther out. But you got to realize, too, that you're looking on an angular resolution of that water. So all I'm catching is that brightness of it. I'm not really catching a lot of the detail. But also, if you watch this boat, you can actually see these closer waves, just like this boat right here blocks out that boat, okay? So the closer waves are actually going to start to kind of block the lower end of the hull out. It's not that this boat is going over any curvature, because if it was, you know, it wouldn't give me the appearance that it's giving me right now. I mean, you know, especially the way I follow it and how long you'll see this boat going out, and you know, you'll say, wow, because it actually just gets so small it blends in with the water, and it's the water that's actually lapping up in these closer waves that are actually blocking me out from seeing that boat. Because you got to realize that this boat, the farther out it goes, the smaller it gets. The smaller it gets, the more these waves can block out of that boat. Okay, you know, it's like looking at a on a table, and get down even with it and put a quarter out at the very far end of it, and you'll see that that quarter will block out quite a bit of the background, that you can see behind that, you know, the top surface of the table. And this is the same thing that occurs when these boats get out to a certain distance on the water. Now you can start seeing that refraction, that whiter, brighter lit surface there, start getting in front of the boat, okay, because you can see the white waves, more of the white waves coming up in front of it. And here's a boat that's a lot closer, and you can tell it's a lot closer because of the size. Plus, that boat that's farther out there in the horizon is bigger than what you think. You know, it's kind of hard to explain these, you know, because people will say, "Oh, it's a mirage," but you can obviously tell that this is not a mirage. And you know, when you look at other people's videos of boats, you know, you wonder, well, how in the world are you picking this up if this is supposed to be a curve out there? Because I can tell you right now that this boat is over 10 miles away. It's got to be. It's got to be. It has to be. It's the only way I can do it. I'm talking about the blue marble picture, because the guy says it has to be photoshopped. This ain't photoshopped. This is pure film. Just the settings on it that I did, I still believe that I cut the light, because still look at the back of the boat. Now you can kind of see that the waves are lapping up. It's not the boat sinking. It's the waves lapping up and the boat just getting smaller, and these waves are blocking it out, these closer waves, because that's how my camera can resolve the height of the waves, but I'm catching the closer waves as the boat gets farther and farther away, and I can't resolve the waves that are behind this wave line. So this wave line is what is actually stopping, you know, the visual of the bottom of the boat. But you can constantly see the rear end of this boat for quite a ways through this video. Now, I watch a lot of these boats, and sometimes I follow some of these shrimp boats out of the channels when I go out of Hernando Beach. And when you follow these things, some of these boats can really scoot. I was actually surprised one day. I thought, oh, I'm going to catch up to this boat and blow right by him. My goodness, it took me a long time to catch up to him. I didn't realize how fast this guy was going. But, you know, he was doing probably 25 to 30 miles an hour on one of these big boats. Hard to believe, but these guys want to get out, get their shrimp and get back, or their crab traps, and get back. They don't want to be out there, you know, till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, you'll keep watching the boat. You don't see this boat going over a curve. You just see the boat getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that was a big focal point of mine as I'm doing these videos. This is some of the best footage that I've ever gotten to, as far as following a boat right down to the nitty-gritty. Besides my you know, shrinking boat video that I did on a smaller boat, and it looked like two guys in a Cheerio. But you know, these are the things that you got to look at. All right, here's the bird rack at the end of Bayport, and you can obviously tell this is a good sized bird rack. Now, as this boat continues to go, I'm going to miss the other bird racks that are out there because I zoom off to catch some of the sun rays beaming through the clouds. It was just a beautiful little sight, so I will back away and give you a little nice view of the sun shining through these clouds. But again, still look, there's the boat, just a lot smaller, and you can see still the ass end of the boat above the water. So it's not sinking, people. It's not sinking. All right, here there's a couple of marks right there that you've seen in front of the boat, and that was one of them. But this is what I was getting out there, and I just thought it was beautiful. I've got some other video of this when I first got there. That is absolutely gorgeous. Maybe I'll show it along with the sunset that I did get this day. But I wanted to just focus on this boat right now. And then, you know, I'll show you these markers. This is the bird rack at the end of Bayport. And I'm going to tell you that that is approximately 4 miles out. Okay. And then there's a marker right here. There's two of them. One to the left and one in the middle of the screen. And now it's back up, one to the right, one in the middle of the screen. Those bird racks are a hell of a lot farther out. And I cannot determine exactly how far those are out. But one day I will try to either get a map, something. I should be able to find something that will show me the distances of these objects right here, because they are far out. Now that sign's much closer. I know about where that sign is. And again, here's that boat to the right of the screen. And I'm going to continue to follow him. I got a couple more minutes on this 15-minute video. And I filmed them for 18 minutes here, a little over 18 minutes. So, you know, I'll go through a transition, and then I'll start the camera up again and go for another 3 minutes after that. But this is the crucial point of the video. I mean, again, you can still see the ass end of that boat. You can still pretty much make out that boat. All right. Now, you got to think about these waves and what these waves are actually doing. I mean, the waves have height to them. So if it's a 4 foot, you know, 3 to 4 foot waves out there, those waves are going to start blocking out 3 or 4 foot. But the problem is see, I'm picking up the closer waves because my camera cannot, and here's where my tripod gets pulled down because the tide's coming in, so it's washed my tripod leg in the water a little bit. I'll get it back up here and find that boat again. All right. Now you can still see that that boat is in the water, and you can still make out that boat. You can still make out the rear end of that boat, and I haven't done nothing to the color of this except for with the camera settings that I did on the aperture settings, and I kept it in the aperture mode when I started recording. I think that has a lot to do with being able to cut that light, because last time I tested this, I went to the camera mode, and it didn't seem to, I seemed to get a lot of glare again, and boats floating in the air. So by leaving it on the aperture, I think it's doing something in the settings to where I'm cutting that light down. Now again, you know, you can actually see these waves. It's almost like a, you know, it's almost like a mirage, but these are waves out there, and those waves are actually blocking that boat out. Now you can still see the rear end of this boat, and this is what's funny. Is this boat, I can still make out the shape of this boat from when I first started. Now, in this last 3-minute segment is when I start losing it, and it actually starts blending right into the waves. But you can still see these waves are lapping up over the boat. Okay? So, again, you know, I don't want nobody to believe me. I mean, people with a Nikon P900 can go out there and test this themselves. But I do these personally for myself, and then I share them with people, because I got into this to debunk the flat Earth, and here I find myself as a flat earther big time now, because of my observations. Okay, and by me changing my cameras, this really is confirming that boats don't sink over the horizon. There's a lot more going on than what they tell you in science about a boat going, over the curvature of Earth. Now, the only boat I was able to do that with was a big ship on the East Coast. East Coast has big swells, big deep waves. So the waves that I pick up on the angular resolution are the waves that actually start blocking out the lower end of the hull of the boat. The boat never tilts, never bends, never leans any which direction. It just kind of like slowly sinks. But it's not because it's going over the curvature of Earth. It's just because it's getting smaller, and then the closer waves that my camera can resolve is what blocks out that lower hull. And on this, actually, I wish I would have been using different settings over there, because maybe I would have been able to see something a little bit different with these different settings. Because that mirroring always plays a role, and it always blocks you out. Now, I personally can still make out some of this boat and see that this boat has not gone over the curvature, that has just gotten smaller, and it's going to get so small it just blends in with the waves. Now, I've missed some of these sometimes with my camera, because I look back on some of my videos and I can see a image similar to this where it looks like a rolling in wave, and it's actually a boat. But I didn't realize it until now that I'm seeing this video. So again, like, subscribe, share, use if you like. In any videos, I always offer my videos for free. So feel free to use it. Just try not to use it to monetize, because if you monetize it, I will throw a copyright strike at you. But other than that, I won't throw a copyright strike at anybody. If Google tries to throw one at you, I'll get to say something, and I will allow you to use my video. All right. Thanks. Have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this makes sense to you. And this is going to pretty much conclude it, because you really can't make out much to this boat anymore. So again, like, subscribe, and share. And have a good day.